friends, welcome to Dom's Daydream. I'm Dom, and this channel is a lifestyle DIY channel. It's anything I've ever dreamt of or anything that's inspired by my personal life will probably be on this channel. As of right now, I just got engaged, whoop whoop, but like a year and a half ago. Why such a long engagement? Well, one, I was working full time, I was going to school, I was in the works of moving out of state, in which I'm here now. Start from the bottom, now we're here. Number two, I am planning this wedding without a wedding planner. It was obviously the most affordable option, and luckily I have like a sick ass tribe of friends and family who are willing to help and chip in. Number three, I wanted to incorporate a lot of DIYs, thus the wedding series, and I wanted my wedding to be super personalized. Number four, I wanted a bigger budget, so with a longer engagement, the more time you have to save. I wasn't one of those people who was like saving years before anyone's ever proposed to me. And lastly, number five, I don't really expect to get married again. I'm not trying to be naive. Really, I don't really plan on marrying anyone else. I'm gonna be with him until we die or until someone murders him. Please don't murder my husband. I understand that we live in very trying times right now. Planning a wedding during a pandemic is not really ideal. I understand that a lot of people have bigger and tougher things to fry, such as unemployment, such as losing loved ones, such as actually having COVID-19. So this video is more so as a fun distraction from all the scary shit that's happening outside my apartment. So let's just jump into it and get started. 12 to 16 months before you get married, the first thing you should do is choose your wedding date. That sounds so obvious, but I feel like a lot of times when people get engaged, they're crazy excited about the prospects of someone wanting to spend the rest of their life with them, that they forget about the basics and they just want to jump into looking at like photographers and videographers. But really, hold up, stop. Start with the foundation and choose your wedding date. Everything that you will ever plan for this day will be based on this one day. It will depict anything from your dress to the groom's wear to the type of food or flowers. Make it easy on yourself and just start with the date. You can't do anything else. If you want a summer wedding, you should probably have a light and flowy chiffon-y dress. If you are choosing a winter wedding, then you should probably have a dress with thicker fabric. Probably have to plan for shawls and like faux fur coats, and then like vice versa for your groom. You don't want your groom in the summer sweating his balls in a tuxedo. Nah, you want him to be comfortable, probably in a light or linen suit. And then same thing for winter time. Probably wouldn't be wearing a linen suit in the snow. Let's be logical, guys. Like if you like that style, aim for a summer wedding. If you want like a thicker wool style, probably go for a fall and winter wedding because it matches the season. Your date depicts the season and the season depicts the weather. Number two, start your wedding file. This is probably like one of my favorite parts of planning my wedding, was starting my wedding file. And a wedding file can be anything from a Pinterest board to a wedding binder to a bridal vision board to just like simply using bridal or wedding apps. So for Pinterest board, I feel like it's a really well-known app and website where I didn't have to explain it, but the cool thing about that is that you can see all this inspiration and see all the trends that are going on in 2020, and you can start a folder on your Pinterest or a board that says, best day ever, once in a lifetime wedding, dream wedding. And underneath that, you can have like subboards or like sub-files that say like wedding dresses, florals, centerpiece ideas, yada, da, da, da. And it's nice because then you can really organize your thoughts, see them in visual form. And like when you go to vendors, you can say, oh, I was looking at a bouquet that had these roses and these blue thistles. You can go to a dress shop, which is really nice because one of the things they'll ask you is like, oh, do you have a Pinterest board? Oh, do you have like photo inspirations of what kind of dresses you're looking for? And you could just pull it up on your Pinterest board and be like, these ones, Their Wing, Haley Page, everything I cannot afford. And then same thing with a wedding binder. Wedding binder is kind of nice for people like me who have like short-term memory loss. It's not like super severe, but it is present. It is easier for me to remember things if I write them down. And that's the best thing about having a wedding binder. It's just like having a Pinterest board, but in like physical form, which is really nice for people. It's because you can literally just like flip through pages and be like, boom, this is what I'm looking for. Or if you are at a catering tasting, you can have like a physical paper form of the menu and you can write notes about that caterer. Oh, I really like their risotto. Oh, I like the pricing better for this caterer. They offer more things like appetizers and 3-course meals and a dessert bar. So it's really nice to have that physical form. Also, you can also have a section that is for like budgets. So like writing things down is very nice for me because I'm like, oh, sorry, I already spent like $2,400 on a dress and now I only have like $100 for flowers. Shit happens. And then lastly is the wedding vision board. This is for like more artistic brides and people who really need that physical inspiration, and also it's just really cool and pretty. So what a wedding vision board is, you'll get an actual board. It can be made of anything you like. It's your board, it's your day. And you can put anything from like dress inspirations. You could put different laces that you'd like on your dress on there. You can put dried flowers of certain flowers that you were thinking for your bouquet. You can put color swatches for bridesmaids dresses. You can like clip in little like bow ties you're thinking for your spouse to wear for your special day. And then it's really nice that even after all the wedding planning is done and you had your wedding, you'll have this really cute memento and it will remind you of like all the stress and fun you had during your wedding. And if you make it designer-like, then it'd be a really cool piece just to have in your home that's like a real personal part of your own journey. Weddings are huge. They're a stepping stone. They're not just something you should do like willy-nilly. Number 3, choose your style and formality. Now, if you did the work in number 2, then number 3 would be super easy. Because once you start doing all these pinning and like printing out pictures for your binder or posting it on your vision board, you'll start to see a. So for me, I noticed that I like dresses with a lot of lace. I noticed that for centerpieces, I really loved candelabras with flowers on them. I noticed that I was really gravitating towards venues that looked very vintage, looked old world, looked very weathered, and kind of has like a touch of European. And so my style for my wedding, I would say, is old world romance. What the hell does that mean? Imagine the Phantom of the Opera meets like the live action Beauty and the Beast, and they like made a baby. That's like the style and theme of my wedding. As for formality, I go by off like what kind of venue you're having your wedding at. So if you are having your wedding at a beach or at a park or in, your parents' backyard, you probably want to have more of a casual vibe. Or you can go for more of a semi-formal. I would say my venue is a semi-formal venue. It has like this very European, like old world chapel. And then once you leave the chapel, it's like these gorgeous gardens and large trees and ponds with lilies, and it's just really chill, but also slightly fancier. It's like an elevated chill. And lastly, you can go from like super duper formal, where you are getting married at an extravagant ballroom and people can show up in like these gorgeous gowns and the men can show up in black and white tuxedos. Number 4 is announcement. Now, back in the day, they used to have this thing called a newspaper. Have you heard of one of them? And if you got married or you got engaged, you can put an announcement in the local paper saying Jimmy Fallon and Scarlett Johansson just got engaged. And then people in the local paper can read and they're like, oh Jimmy, oh Scarlett, they're finally tying the knot. But honestly, I don't even know if they still do that, and I've never looked at a local paper. But if they do still do that and they do that in your town, that would be so freaking cute for engagement photos. But on the flip side, it's 2020. We are modern women, men, or anything you choose to be in this century. And there's social media. So you can post something on Instagram, you can post something on Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Tinder. Let those hoes know that you are taken for life and you aren't looking back. Or you can be more private like me, or reserved. Didn't tell a single soul. But mainly because as I got older, I just feel weird about like bragging about my life. Even though they're just happy things that are happening to me. I don't know. I don't want to be those people. Plus, my fiance was smart. He proposed to me at my 25th birthday, which I consider kind of a big birthday. It's like you're really reaching those, adulty years. And all my friends and all my family were there, so I didn't really have to tell anyone. Number 5, decide on your budget. This one is a huge one because on your budget, it will tell you what you can and what you can't afford. This is about planning your dream wedding, but everyone's budget is different. If you have a smaller budget, then you need to start really thinking about what you and your partner consider important and what's just kind of like a frivolous expense. But on the flip side, if you're ballin', go hard. If you're like me and you're not really thinking about marrying ever again and this is like your one big wedding, go hard. Why not? All right, number 6. If you're gonna do it now. Hire a wedding planner. And that's only if you decide on having a full wedding planner. What a full wedding planner is expensive. A full wedding planner is someone who will be there for your like beck and call. Not like, ew, I don't want to. Not this kind, but more like this kind. To really root you on, and all you had to do is say yes, no, maybe so. And they'll be like, fine. Okay, so that person didn't like that photographer. Let me pull someone else in. Oh, my bride didn't like that caterer. Let me take them to a new tasting. And that's another cool thing about having a wedding planner is that they already have vendors in their repertoire, which means that they recommend them on such a current basis, that they give them discounts, which gives you discounts compared to if you were trying to get that vendor on your own. But the next affordable option is a partial wedding planner. A partial wedding planner is for someone who's probably done like 40 or 50% of the work and then is halfway to their wedding date and realize, oh shit, this is hard. Yeah. Planning a wedding is hard, and that is why someone is paid to do it. Partial wedding planners will probably not be as available as a full wedding planner. They'll give you an X amount of phone calls, X amount of emails and texts. They'll probably go to the most important vendor meetings, and they will help you procure last minute vendors that you just haven't found yet or are having trouble finding. And then the next affordable option is for someone who's done like 100% of the work. They did all their DIYs, they chose all their dresses, their vendors are picked and possibly paid for. A day of wedding planner will literally be there on the day of. So you show up, they have like all the main details of the schedule of your wedding, and they will just make sure that everything kind of goes according to plan, from ceremony to cocktail hour to reception. And if you need any little decor items to be put up before everything gets started, or just need someone to check in on you or check in on your groom to see if everyone's still want to get married. And at the end of the night, they will take all your DIY decorations, throw them in your parents' car, and make sure that all your vendors are paid for before you leave, which is pretty nice. Number 7, select your ceremony location. Like I said, you need to choose your frockin' date. They're gonna ask you, what's your wedding date? What were you thinking? Well, I was thinking November, blank, 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 blank. Oh, our date's available. Oh, we actually have a wedding going that day. And then you have to move on or stay there if they're available, if you chose your date. And then also, once again, date, season, weather. So you could be checking out all these gorgeous beaches. You can be checking out all these indoor locations, depending if you're getting married in the winter or springtime. You also want to consider the size and the style. So if you're having a huge wedding, 200 to 400 people, you want to make sure your ceremony can accommodate that kind of size. I've been to weddings where half the people were sitting and then there were still people arriving and they're like standing in the back and there's just like mobs of people, or like surrounding the outsides of people who were sitting in chairs, which I feel like is so awkward. And if these people, they drove far or flew somewhere to be at your wedding, you should make sure that they're comfortable. And then as for style, if you are looking for a vintage style, there are so many cute vintage places that used to be something else. So I used to look at the Darlington House, and that used to be someone's house. What am I saying? That used to be someone's house. I was looking at a Mission. Well, that used to be a Mission, but it's still a very gorgeous vintage place to get married. And then you also want to consider religious factors. So if you're Catholic, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, then you'll probably want to get married in something like that. So you could get married at a chapel that your parents got married at. You can get married at a church that you got baptized at. These are like cute little things to think about that really personalize your wedding and make it more so about you and makes it that much special. And even if you're like, I love the church, I love the people I grew up with in that church, but the church is old, it's not cute, you could choose a different ceremony location and ask your priest or your pastor to come to that location and help you get married. which is really nice and also still has that personal touch. You can also consider cultural factors. There are ceremony locations like the one I'm getting married at. The lady who owns this venue, she used to be a culturals major. So she's really big on like brides and grooms coming into their wedding and bringing cultural factors. So she said the night before I came to visit the venue for the first time, they just so happened to be having a Filipino wedding. Filipino, if you were unsure. And she said that she let them bring like the roasted pig, ears and all. And I was like, oh, whoa. There's not too many venues that would let you do something like that. So that was actually a huge bonus for us. We're probably not gonna have a pig or anything like that, but I do wanna have basics of Filipino cuisine. Lastly, number 9. This is probably the earliest time you can start wedding dress shopping. Whether that is just putting things into your Pinterest board and just like grabbing inspiration, or if you are actually going into stores and trying on dresses. See, just because you're trying on dresses doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy right now. It just means that you could start looking at silhouettes. You could start looking whether you like bling or you like something more simple and structured. If you like lace or if you hate lace. You can also start seeing if you like A-line dresses or if you like ball gowns, if you like straight and sheath, or if you like mermaid style. This is the time to start experimenting, and then you'll have more time to look at dresses that you actually love. You'll know the fit, you'll know the style, you'll know what kind of accessories you may even want, like a cape, if you want a cape, or if you want a veil, if you want a lot of jewelry, or if you want like more little simple things. It's all up to you. And if you're still unsure, you can go look through bride magazines. You can go on Pinterest and do some more research. There are even designers that have like their own Instagram, and you could start following them on Instagram, and they'll post pictures of obviously their dresses and models, but they'll also take inspiration and pictures from actual true brides who bought their dress and wore it for their wedding, and you're like, wow, that dress really fits the type of venue, or that dress really fits the type of style that I'm really aiming for. And you can see how it is on a real person and not a model. You can also type into YouTube wedding dress try-ons and see real people in real time trying on all these really gorgeous dresses. So that is it for the 12 to 16 months. If you like my content and you enjoy what I do, click the like button below. If you want to join the Daydreamer family and be a full-time daydreamer like me, then click the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Until next week, bye!